This is the Beelink SEi13 Pro. You can get it with an i9 13900HK or an i7 13620H. I have it with the i9 13900HK right here. So I thought we'd go ahead and take a look at this. I'm gonna go ahead and get a Time Spy Extreme going while we talk about this here. Now, the one thing I like about this is it kind of looks like a Mac Mini. I actually took a picture of this new garage setup that I've got going here with my workbench. And a friend immediately was like, the only thing I recognize in the photo is the Mac Mini. And I was like, Steven, that is not a Mac Mini. That is a Beelink Mini PC. It's got a 135 by 135 by 44.7 millimeter footprint. Weighs about 780 grams. Now, it does not have any vents on the top or sides. Gives it a pretty clean look. And you can get this in the frosted silver or space gray. I have the frosted silver here. If you go with the i9, like I have, you have 14 cores, 20 threads, up to 5.4 gigahertz with boost. If you went with the i7, you get 10 cores, 16 threads, and up to 4.9 gigahertz with the boost. Now, the i9 here has the Intel Iris Xe graphics. It'll do up to 1.5 gigahertz. The i7 model comes with Intel UHD graphics. Obviously, I prefer this one. This has 32 gigabytes of DDR5. It has dual M.2 2280 PCIe 4 slots, so you could do up to 8 terabytes. I believe I have 1 terabyte in this. I will check that in system here in a moment. This uses MSC 2.0 cooling, so it has a vapor chamber, a relatively silent fan. I can hear the fan, but if I was working, you know, it's no different than, say, your HVAC running in the background. It's actually quieter than the HVAC here. This has PCIe 4 speeds, so it's nice and snappy with file transfers. I've already run the SSD test. We'll go in and look at that in a minute. They say it's rated at about 32 decibels. I would say, just based off my ear, that seems pretty accurate. It only does get air intake from the bottom, so keep that in mind on how you place it. Having it on this box is probably not the best thing, but I wanted to kind of raise it up to where you could see it since I have my monitor way up there. It does do HDMI out. It has a DisplayPort 1.4, and then you can do video also via the USB-C as well as data. There's a 2.5 gig LAN in the back, a 3.5 millimeter audio jack. Supposedly has a built-in microphone array. I believe that's what those are. It does have Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5.2. I am pretty far. I am as far in the house as I can get from my router, and it's handling the Wi-Fi just fine. I've got about 3 bars. They do say it uses like AI reduction for that microphone array, thanks to a B1 chip that they have in there. This is designed so you can do voice commands, online meetings, AI assistant stuff, all here on the machine. And then it's got dual speakers, apparently with DSP and a dedicated amplifier. What are you going to use this for? Home workstation, video conferencing, 4K media center. This would be really good as like a Plex server or something. You know, light creative workloads like basic video editing, 3D printing management. That's probably what I'll use something like this for out here. As over to the right, I do have a 3D printer over there. This would also be good, you know, if you wanted a little computer in your RV or van life or some kind of, you know, off-grid setup. If you're not doing something intense, it's not going to use a lot of power, which is nice. To all those display ports and USB and stuff, this will support triple 4K output. I don't have a way to test that because I have one 4K monitor. This isn't 4K, this is only 1080p, but that is there as an option. Yeah, we'll go ahead and let this test finish. We'll take a look at it. I've run a couple others, and then we'll run one more and look at all those, you know, benchmarks and stuff. But it's a really capable computer. I've had some other Beelink mini PCs come across my desk, and I've been pretty happy with them. This seems to be the best one I've had yet. I really like that it has the i9. My daily driver's got an i3 in it, so one of these days I'm going to take one of these mini PCs and replace my daily driver. My gaming PC is a lot better, but just what I use every day for Reddit and email and class for my master's degree is an i3. So maybe this one will go inside with me. I don't know. And there's our Time Spy Extreme. So on Battlefield 5 at 1440, it's saying less than 30 seconds. I wish they'd update this because Battlefield 6 is out now. That's what I've been playing way too much. But at 1080p, you're getting 35 frames per second. Considering this isn't marketed as a gaming one, that's really good. GTA 5, 1080p, you're getting 140 plus frames per second. I'm going to go ahead and run this CPU benchmark real fast. I forgot to save my results when I ran it the first time. So we'll go and grab that, and then we'll do the SSD one as well. Pretty good. I'm really happy with this considering, you know, what's in this. Now this won't matter too much for this because this is going to test like loading and saving game states, save files for games, but it's a pretty good test. Again, you're not going to do a lot of like top tier gaming, AAA gaming on this. You're going to maybe transfer some files and stuff, but that's still pretty important. And this will give us a good idea of file transfer. The SSD benchmark is done. We're getting anywhere from 237.69 to about 2000 MBS. Not too bad. They're not the fastest storage in the world, but for file transfers, for Plex server, for anything you're going to do with this, realistically, this is entirely acceptable. I am quite happy with that. I wasn't getting sound from YouTube, but when I go into the audio manager, I was getting sound. What had happened is the monitor had taken priority as the output device. So if you have that problem, keep that in mind. Like base model, they do have other models. This entire setup that you see shipped in 3 boxes. The file cabinet was in one, this was in one, the desk. Little tinny, but if you're sitting in a computer, you're probably going to use headphones anyway. At least I do. For conference calls and stuff, I think that would be completely acceptable. If you get just the desk, it comes in 2 boxes. You get one. Not bad at all. I've heard a lot worse. Let's start a new chat. Sorry, this keyword's trash. Write a Shakespearean poem about, from the perspective of a Beelink mini PC. How I spell Shakespearean wrong. And send. This is kind of something that I would use my own hosted LLM for. If I just wanted to know information about something, I'd use Wikipedia, right? Unless it was something really sensitive, maybe medical or something. But doing creative stuff that might not necessarily be in harmony with the terms of something like GPT, that is what I would host my own LLM for. So this is a good test. It's not the fastest for the LLMs, but you would need like a GPU running the LLM and a bunch more memory and a better model. I think this would be great for LLMs if you needed to do something that you wanted to keep within your control, because you could take this offline once you installed it. You could run your queries. Everything would be great. Oh, it's writing a whole soliloquy, and it even has the Act 1 and an Act 2. This is pretty fun. We'll read this when it's done. I'll let it go ahead and finish. All right, it looks like it did 4 acts, and now it's doing an epilogue, so we'll go ahead and read this. I think we disagree on what the term short is, but here we go. To whom it may concern, a mini PC's soliloquy. From the silent heart of a Beelink small and stout, I speak in quiet lines, though I am but about. My casing wrought of tempered glass, my circuits neat. I bear the weight of knowledge, yet no mortal feat. Act 1, Birth of Circuit. Lo, when first the silicon was carved by human hand, a spark within me breathed life, a tiny strand of copper traced like rivers through a verdant isle, and so I sprang to life, my purpose beguile. Behold, cried engineers with fervent pride, the form is light as a feather, yet the power shall abide. Within this compact frame a world doth reside, a GPU to paint the stars that nightly glide. Act 2, the Court of Software. I greet the noble OS, fair Windows or bold Linux. Their commands like sonnets whisper through my inner mix. When users type and scroll, I keep their secrets close. No tyrant's gaze nor hacker's hand can breach my rows. The apps that doth dance upon my modest screen, word processors, browsers, each a bright serene. I rendered visions paint the canvas of your mind, and in return I cherish every byte you bind. Act 3, the lament of heat and power. Yet as the day doth turn to night, I feel the strain. Heat rises like a tempest upon my vein. Though fans do spin with steady hushed applause, the burden grows, I play no fault shall flaw. For power, dear compatriots, is lifeblood's source. A modest wattage, yet it fuels my force. I vow to keep the energy in gentle sway, to serve as a beacon and not a drain of disarray. Act 4, the future's promise. What future waits beyond this fleeting present? Will I bound by mortal hands, or be content to stand within a desk's silent sentinel? Or shall I roam the world, a small yet mighty fellow? I dream of realms where I may interlace with other machines in a grand embrace, a network like a tapestry stitched with care, where every node doth share its light and dare. Epilogue, a mini PC's oath. So here I stand, a Beelink, modest in size, yet vast as the heavens where true wisdom lies. I pledge to keep thy thoughts safe from all threat, a humble servant forged by human sweat. O dear reader, if thou dost need a friend, I shall companion that will not offend. Take heed of me and I shall faithfully comply, for in this tiny heart true purpose lies. There you go, it runs LLMs. A nice little machine.